Yeah, people get a beautiful vision of how they would like to live. Like I use the idea of a vision. I don't think that people know the difference between a vision and a goal. They're not the same thing.
Mhm.
A vision, if you think of a stage, let's say in theater, but you think of a stage and they put on the floodlight, it floods the whole stage. That's like your vision.
Right.
Did you ever play the game Life? Yeah, I love that game. And I remember on the game of life, you get a car and you go through and you decide if you're going to get a job first or go to college or whatever. But your life, you don't know what your life is going to look like. But the vision board is, or the game board is like the vision. And so I I really began to see that my vision was like a stage and it was a floodlight and I could write about my vision. I could write about the kind of house I wanted to live in and the kind of car and the kind of relationships I wanted and the relaxed state that I wanted to be in. I grew up in Montana, so I really love the outdoors. And so I had this vision for myself. A goal is a spotlight. It's something on your vision board that you say, this is the most interesting thing right now. This is the main act. And you spotlight something, and that becomes your goal. You may not know how to do it. See, a goal is not to get, a goal is to help you grow. And it's in the growing that you get. And most of us stop growing. For some reason, when we finish college or high school or college, we stop growing. And really great leaders or people who are in the 1% or the 3%, they are constantly learning. It's not about information, it's that they are challenging themselves, the inner person, and they don't really care what's going on in the outside. And some of us, our nervous system is so wired to the outside world, we're reacting constantly. We don't know the inside person. I didn't know the inside person. To find her was the journey. That was the journey. So the idea of learning to understand your vision, settle down to know your vision, and quiet, where no one's influencing you about it other than your desire or your inspired thing, whatever you're inspired by. And I don't think people understand when you make a decision, it's like you draw a line because you're not going to like it when you first start. Can I just tell you, you don't like it.
Right.
You're interested in it, and then you make a decision, and then you've got to face your old way of doing it and build a new model. And it's painful. I would love to say it's easy. It's not. It's difficult because you're in a constant battle of learning to surrender. And I don't think I really knew how to surrender. I had to learn to quiet my nervous system down. And that's what I was saying about the chemistry. We create dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin by just our thoughts. Just our thoughts. And if you don't know how to control your thoughts, then you're reacting to the outside world. And to learn to slow down, it's almost you slow down to speed up, but you got to slow down because you're wired to too many things. You're entangled in too many things. And you've got to learn to let go of those and get quiet and still within yourself. And then you visualize, you don't need to worry about the how at first. You are the how. I've said this to people before. People say, how do you do that? How do you do that? You are the how. You're not quiet enough to know your how. You got to get quiet. And you got to stop letting so many things influence the way you think. Great leaders and great philosophers, they have solidified something within them and they live it. And you've got to learn if you're going to be the leader or the follower. To be a great leader, you must be a very good follower at first. And I learned to be a very good follower. I got my ego out of the way and I learned to follow. And then I shifted to leadership. And it was natural. It wasn't a put on. I see so many people, I'm going to be this, and all of a sudden they start acting like they know it, and they look like they have confidence, but really that's called arrogance.
Mhm.
They're arrogant.
Right.
And you really feel that. I think people who have done the work, you feel the difference between someone who's arrogant and someone who is really humble in what they have learned. And right now, we've had so many people go into the marketplace in coaching, we have a lot of arrogance without really living it or being it. There hasn't been a lot of mentorship, there's just been a lot of information. And this is really messing with people's chemistry. And you feel like, well, they said that they can do that. How come I can't? Well, it's because you can't do it their way. You can't
Right.
compete with them. You got to create you. You got to know you. And that's the ignorance in the marketplace right now. Here's these 10 steps. No, you got to know you first. Get get quiet. And I think to get to the infinite, source has it. The infinite has it. But if you're not connected to the infinite and you're connected to, the outside world, you will fail.
How is success like an aquarium?
Hmm. Yeah, I would say go with the flow. Yeah.
Nice and simple. Very nice. So that's how success is like an aquarium.